Billy Ripken, how you doing? Let me introduce myself to you, Billy, because you don't know me and I don't know you. My name's Al Barbieri. I'm from Philadelphia, and we have a couple of things in common that I'd like to share with you and tell you a little story. But first, let me say, I noticed the fungal bat that you swing around in the MLB studios is a fungal bat, and something that looks like this. Matter of fact, exactly like this, the same one. Thin handle, thin barrel, you got it taped up like all baseball men do, and you don't see these around too often, and I'm betting a shiny new quarter that the one you have was handed down to you or left behind by your late great father, Cal Ripken Sr. And this one I have was left to me by my former college coach, who was also a former minor leaguer. His name was Chet D'Amidio. He passed away October 2019. I have a funny feeling your dad and Chet may have crossed paths and probably knew each other. But anyway, he gave this to me. Chet also spent 27 years as a White Sox spring training and minor league instructor. And I cherish this. It's beautiful. Let me show it to you. Let me take the tape off because I gotta retape it. I want to show it to you and prove to you that it's Chet D'Amidio's. When I do a video, I like to have receipts. And let me show you. Louisville Slugger. Oh, camera fell down. Hold on, the phone fell down. Here we go. Here we go, Billy. As you can see, D'Amidio, Chet D'Amidio. So anyway, Billy, we also have something in common, and it has to do by the gentleman that had a lot to do and was instrumental, and I believe he was the guy that signed your brother, Cal Ripken Jr. His name is Dick Bowie. God rest his soul. And I'm asking and reaching out to you, Billy, for a favor, but I must share something with you. As baseball man to baseball man, you will understand and then know why I'm asking this favor. So, it has to go back 40 years, August of 1981. Something I've been carrying around with me like a disease, Billy. See, Billy, I was a high school player, just a very good high school player. I was not a prospect. And what happened was I went to Penn State out of high school. It was off campus in Delaware County, PA. Didn't have a baseball team. And a gentleman by the name of Henry Varlack. He was an African-American guy. He's passed on, I would say, more than 10, 15 years ago. Henry was a lovable guy. He was hired as the head coach of Philadelphia Community College. And I also want to say he was hired as the athletic director. And he was given an open checkbook to refurbish the baseball program at Community College. And in 1977, along with some other Philadelphia talent, Henry Varlack recruited me to come to Community College to play baseball. And Chet D'Amidio was his assistant coach. And fast forward to 1981 in August. Chet D'Amidio found out that Dick Bowie, you know Dick Bowie, and for people who are watching this, Dick Bowie was a serious scout in the Baltimore organization. He was head of the Eastern Seaboard, if I remember, and like I said, he was responsible for signing your brother, and also was responsible to convincing the Baltimore organization that your brother Cal, at 6'5", had the goods to play shortstop in the major league. And as we all know, Dick Bowie was correct, and the rest is history. But Chet D'Amidio tells me, and at this time, Chet believed and knew, and I also believed that this time I had a major league arm. And I was a late bloomer, and I was starting to hit the ball, had some pop, and you know, Billy, when a kid like 5'6", 175 pounds like myself would hit the long ball, it's eye-opening. So Chet told me at this showcase that I was not going to showcase myself as an infielder. I was a middle infielder. He said, you're going to showcase yourself as a catcher. Show off your arm, attract, some eyes, and that's the only way out of these little showcases when you're a kid that has not been drafted or signed or what have you. And I was 22 years old at the time, so I'm a little behind the 8 ball. So I did that, and the showcase was over. Dick Bowie told Chet to hold me back until everybody left, and Dick wanted to clock me privately once again, and he did, and I was throwing down the second base out of the crotch, 1 9s and 1 8s, and as we know, 2-0 is average. And he looked at Chet in the eye, and he looked me in the eye, and he told us that he was going to recommend the organization to draft me in the second phase in the 1982 supplemental draft. Well, as history has it, God rest his soul, Dick Bowie died September of 81. And, it was devastation for me because I had no clue what was going to happen. I asked Chet. Chet seemed to think at the time that it wasn't going to have no bearing, that I'm sure he talked to the Baltimore Orioles and gave him his recommendations up at that time. So fast forward to January of 1982, Billy, that phone call never came from the Baltimore Orioles. So knowing I had one chip left in the game and I was going to use it, and I got to tell you, Billy, there's only one living witness that can confirm this showcase, and it's Chet D'Amelio's son, Doug. He was there. I don't know what he remembers. I would never ask him to lie or want him to lie, but I know that he was there, Doug D'Amelio. So anyway, I knew that Henry Varlick, and it was amazing, it's unsolved mystery at the time in Philadelphia, how this Henry Varlick had connections because with the Baltimore Orioles, because in 77 we had a kid by the name of Terry Switten, got drafted by the Orioles in the second phase draft in January of 77. We had another kid, Stanley Hendrickson, 1978, got signed out of Philadelphia Community College by the Orioles in the supplemental draft of 82. And it was just mind-blowing how this man, who was not a baseball man, Henry Varlick, had this connection with the Orioles. So me knowing this, and my father, I told my father about it. We called Henry over to the house, and I asked Henry if he could hook me up a little look-see, because we were confused why I never got the phone call. And I had no idea what Henry knew, and Henry did that. He set it up. I got on a plane that morning, the designated day I was supposed to go, down in Miami, Florida. It's where the Orioles had their spring training complex in 1981. Your father, Billy, was there in uniform. He was at this little tryout that they gave me. He also was the one flipping me balls, throwing down second base. I took some BP, I impressed them, and I was told to go to the office. And when I met this gentleman, who I believe you know, I'll never forget him. He was head of player development. His name is Tom Giordano. And as you can see, I posted on this post, Billy. After a few questions Tom Giordano gives me, I was confused about them. And then all of a sudden he tells me, and I'll never forget it, what he said. He said, Al, I'm sorry, we cannot go down this road with you. He hands me an envelope with my father's double wrap sheet of his organized crime activity in Philadelphia and a plane ticket home. Right there, my dreams were crushed. I was devastated. I went home. I told my father I just had a bust of a tryout, and he went to his grave never knowing that it was his line of work, if you call it that, for lack of a better term, being involved in the rackets in Philadelphia that held me back for my one shot of signing a minor league contract with the Baltimore Orioles. You must be saying to me now, what is the favor? Billy, I've had a few validations of my own as a player on the field. And to me, it's not the ultimate validation because I played 2 years in the Alaska League as a walk-on with the top college prospects in the country that went on to play minor league and Major League Baseball. I walked on. First guy to ever do it, 2 years in a row. I don't believe it's ever done since. At 44 years old, I made my minor league debut with the Camden River Sharks in the Atlantic League. The ultimate receipts and validation I would love to have, Billy. And there's, if I may, just share some with you. There was a movie called Hurricane Carter about the boxer Reuben Carter in the 60s who was framed for a murder in Jersey. And these young lawyers believed in Reuben Carter, took on the case, and they found the lead detective who was already have passed away at the time. They found his family, went to that detective's home. That family let them lawyers in the garage and let them open up all the boxes that he left behind as a detective. And in those boxes, they found his notes that exonerated Hurricane Carter of that murder and proved that he was framed. And that's what I'm hoping that you can do me a favor, because I don't have the strength. You, your brother Cal Jr., and your late father are Baltimore Orioles royalty. You can get, hopefully, to the family, Dick Bowie's kids, his grandkids, where he may have left some archives behind of his notes while being big-time Baltimore Orioles scout. And the next step, maybe one step further, maybe the Baltimore Orioles will allow you to, or myself, into their archives to get the ultimate validation that I would love to have. I believe I deserve it. I know it's there. I know it's there. So, Billy Ripken, I hope you see this video. I hope it's not too much to ask. You, as baseball man to baseball man, you got to know how I feel about this. Like I said, it's been really torturous for me the 40 years carrying this around like a disease. And I would just, you know, you can easily get in touch with me. My Facebook friends, if they have a way to send this to you on Twitter or whatever, I would ask them to share it and send it to you, to get it to you, so you can see this. And I would hope to hear from you. And it's just something that I would love to know, because I know what Dick Bowie said to me on that August day of 1981. And with my own validation of proving my talent, I would like to have that validation from the Orioles organization. Thank you, Billy Ripken.